Good morning and welcome to today's Daily Reflection. One of my favourite films of recent years, well, maybe not too recent, was the 1981 film Chariots of Fire. It's a film that holds many memories for me, but it nevertheless is a great film. It tells the story of someone I'd never really heard of before seeing the film, but he has become one of those people I have tremendous respect for, one of my modern heroes, if you like. Today's set reading is one of the two Bible verses that remind me of this man. The reading for today is from 2 Timothy verses 1 to 8. In the presence of God and Jesus Christ, who will judge the living and the dead, and in view of his appearing and his kingdom, I give you this charge. Preach the word, be prepared in season and out of season. Correct, rebuke and encourage with great patience and careful instruction. For the time will come when people will not put up with sound doctrine. Instead, to suit their own desires, they will gather round them a great number of teachers to say what their itching ears want to hear. They will turn their ears away from the truth and turn aside to myths. But you, keep your head in all situations, endure hardship, do the work of an evangelist, discharge all your duties of your ministry, for I am already being poured out like a drink offering, and the time for my departure is near. I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, for which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, but not only to me, but also to those who have longed for his appearing. This is the word of the Lord. I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness. Eric Liddell was an inspirational adopted Scot whose short life is remembered and renowned internationally for his accomplishments in many different ways. He was well known for his abilities as a sporting champion. He was capped for the Scotland international rugby team 7 times. But he's probably better known for his gold medal win in the 400 metres at the 1924 Olympic Games in Paris. Eric Henry Liddell was born 16th January 1902 in Tianjin, a city north of Beijing in China, the second son of the Reverend and Mrs. James Dunlop Liddell, who were missionaries in China with the London Missionary Society. Eric was educated at a boarding school in London for the sons of missionaries. Eric, with his older brother Rob, were left at the school while their parents and sister Jenny returned to their missionary work in China. Although born in China, educated in England, Eric Liddell lived in Scotland at various times in his life. Excelling in his speed, he gave up his love of rugby for running, where he ran the 100 metres and 200 metres for Edinburgh University and later for Scotland. Chosen for the 1924 Olympics in Paris, he trained to run for the 200 metres and his favoured 100 metre sprint. But as he departed for Paris, Liddell learned that the 100 metre heat in which he was to compete was to be held on a Sunday. His religious convictions wouldn't allow him to compete on the Sabbath, and he resisted all arguments made by the British Olympic Committee. He did receive criticism from high places in Britain for his lack of sportsmanship and patriotism, but he stood fast. History tells us that in refusing to run the 100 metres, he added the 400 metres to his repertoire, despite basically barely training for it, so he wasn't expected to do well in the 400 metres. At the Games, however, he finished third in the 200 metres, gaining a bronze medal, and then he actually won the 400 metres, where he started on the outside lane. He sprinted out of the blocks, set such a speed that 2 other runners fell trying to keep up. He won the race in a record of 47.6 seconds, which was at that time Olympic and world record. After the team returned home, Liddell returned to take up his missionary work in China. Over the next decade, Liddell devoted all his energies to the church and became a legend in the London Mission Society. But in March 1943 he was interned in a Japanese concentration camp. He suffered much in the camp, which took the toll of even the fittest, even Eric Liddell. He sadly died in captivity on the 21st of February 1945 at the age of only 43, just months before the camp was liberated. Although partly fictionalised in the film Chariots of Fire, the film is a fitting tribute to a memorable man known as the Flying Scotsman. His daughter Patricia said of him, "My father was multifaceted. He didn't just appeal to religious people. He was born in China, he worked in China, and he died in China. He's their Olympic hero. He didn't leave the Chinese people when the going got tough." In 2015, a marble sculpture of the athlete turned missionary captured in mid-stride was unveiled in Tianjin, and his remains lie next to it, marked by a headstone carved from the Isle of Mull granite. Eric himself is believed to have said, "The secret of my success over the 400 metres is that I run the first 200 metres as fast as I can. Then for the second 200 metres, with God's help, I was able to run faster." Another quote he is supposed to have said is, "Circumstances may appear to wreck our lives and God's plans, but God is not helpless among the ruins. God's love is still working. He comes in and takes the calamity and uses it victoriously, working out his wonderful plan of love." That is something we should all take to heart, especially when things seem to go wrong for us. Do we lose heart and give up? Or like Eric Liddell, armed sometimes only with our faith, do we take each day as it comes? Eric Liddell was someone who used the talents God gave him. He stood by his beliefs, such as not running on a Sunday, beliefs that he stood up for, even if it meant ridicule. I want to finish with another of Eric's quotes, one that should make us think. We are all missionaries, whether we go to either bring people nearer to Christ or we repel them from Christ. Amen. Well, whatever you're doing today or this week, if you can, do it with a smile. Bye for now.